Hey, my name is Chester C. I'm a photographer, YouTuber, and I'm down in the south coast of New South Wales in a town called Bermagui in this famous Camel Rock. Today I'm going to show you whether it is necessary to use filters when it comes to seascape photography, and if I did have filters, how do I go about using it in as simplest way as possible without all the complicated math. I'm going to be having a point of view camera on to give you an idea as to how I take these photos and what goes in my head and what compositions I choose to give you an idea of what it's like to shoot a seascape. So without further ado, let's get to the sunrise and capture these photos now. I set myself out without a filter, so as a result I need to keep the flow at 0.3 per second, but because of that it's too dark. So what I do is reduce the aperture down to about f4.5 to get the right exposure, and I wait for some flow, fire 2-second timer, and I get some nice flow. So that's a way of doing it without Nissi filters. So it is still possible, but you do compromise on the aperture and exposure. And as the sun's rising, I need to adjust accordingly so I can up the aperture whilst maintaining the shutter speed of 0.3 per second. Got the CPL filter on. It's for taking glare out of the waves or the sun or wherever. So this goes at the bottom, followed by the V5 holder, which holds all the filters in. Let me just explain the filters quickly. So I've got the soft grad filter here, and as you can see, if I lay it across Camel Rock, it balances out the sky and the foreground. And the reason why it's called soft grad is because the blend between the light bit and the dark part of the glass is not as defined. So for conditions like this, it's perfect because there's not much of a defined horizon. So I'm going to slip this on. So the other filter I have with me is the medium grad. Again, serves the same purpose, except that the blend between the light and dark is a lot more defined, so it's good for a straight up horizon shot, like as if you're shooting in the ocean. But again, both of it's usable. You don't really need one or the other because there's not a huge amount of difference. But if you use the hard graduated filter, that's a lot more defined. That one you'll see a difference. So each have its different purposes. There are more graduated filters out there with Nissi, but that's all I've got at the moment. So I'm gonna just compose a shot, set it to f8, set it to a third or a sixth of a second for the flow. Let me adjust that graduated filter so it's good to actually align it to where there's most light, the angling where that is. So I'm angling it to the left a little bit, as you can see, and just compose it properly. Setting 2-second timer because I don't want to minimize all the camera shake. Now I'm going to wait for a swell to come through. So this is just with the soft grad. And again, the medium grad will have similar results, except that it's better used for a defined horizon, like shooting out at sea. I'm going to adjust the CPL filter. You can adjust how much glare you want. So I'm going to adjust it so that the Camel Rock itself has a little bit more light coming through. There's not that much light. Set it to 0.3, and I'm going to bring more light in there, a little bit more light. So I set it to f6.3. I'm just waiting for a swell to come through now. Okay, fire. Yeah, a little bit there. Needs a little bit more. And try again. So the thing with seascapes, spray and pray. Again, there was a lot more water coming here, so this is a lot better shot. Next thing I'm going to show you. The other filter I have is the ND filter. And just as I switch, I get big sets coming in for some nice shots. But anyway, the ND filter, it comes in 3 stops, 6 stops, 10 stops. And what this little filter does, it also slips into the same V5 holder that you've seen before. If you want those dreamy looking shots with clouds moving in the frame, and if you want to smooth out any waters in say a lake where it's really still, but it's still tiny ripples, the way to do it is through the ND filter. The other thing you can do is, if there's a lot of people around in frame, let's say in a busy street and they're all walking and moving, but you don't really want the people in the frame, you can use this, and with a longer exposure, as people walk, it'll be blurred out. So these are the purposes for an ND filter. This slots underneath here at the bottom. So let me slot this here. Making sure that the lens is completely covered. So the ND filter goes underneath, and then after that, the graduated filter goes on top. And there you have it, ready to go. Okay, switch it on, and oh, there's another big set coming, but because I'm capturing NDs, the settings I had before, it's a bit too dark now. So because of the fact that the ND filters was 3 stops, and I got the graduated filter, and I've got the CPL filter underneath, the circular polarizer, that's already like so many stops down from your lens. So what the aim of the ND filter is that it darkens your lenses so that you can get long exposures. And especially this time of day when you could go handheld, but you won't get any of that dreamy look to your images. I'm going to switch, lengthen the exposure all the way up to where I can see that is well exposed. So 6 seconds in this case, leaving it f8. I'm just going to fire and wait for 6 seconds. Make sure the hand is completely off the tripod. And there you have it, a really dreamy look. Are ND filters or any filters worth it? Do I need to get it? Is it a necessity when it comes to landscape photography? The answer is no, but it really helps. As you can see earlier in my video, I took the photos without any filters whatsoever, and you can see the difference. You can see the fact that you can still get the photo. However, it is compromised a little bit when it comes to you having to adjust the aperture or even the ISO to achieve the same look. When it comes to using filters, it really makes a difference because you can balance out the sky in the foreground and you don't have to fix that in post. You can also make it look more dreamy when it comes to putting ND filters in, to smooth out any waters, to smooth out any ripples, to give that moving cloud look effect, motion blur kind of thing. I hope you liked this video. Hope that you got something out of it, and I hope that I explained it really simply to you, rather than going through all the mathematics, which is mind-boggling for me even. And it's a matter of just spraying and praying, giving it a go, trialing and error, and after some time, you'll actually know which settings to set it at. So it all just takes practice. When you hit that like button and subscribe, and leave a comment if you have any questions, and I'll catch you in the next one.